What if the loudest story in K-pop right now isn't something that was said, but something that was never spoken? Hello armies and carrots! Welcome back to JIKOOK Lover. Before we go any further, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and drop your thoughts in the comments because what you're about to hear may completely change how you see Jungkook and Mingyu. There are moments too quiet for microphones, too subtle for headlines, and too suspicious to be called coincidence. Why do they stay silent? And why is that silence now shaking the fandom worldwide? Jungkook and Mingyu that have finally been exposed to the public. The global K-pop industry is built on spectacle. Flashing cameras, rehearsed smiles, perfectly timed interactions, and carefully curated public images are all part of the system. Yet time and time again, the stories that truly captivate the world are not the ones deliberately shown, but the ones that slip through unnoticed. Jungkook and Mingyu, two of the most recognizable idols of their generation, have unintentionally become the center of one of the most talked about silent narratives in recent memory. At first, there was nothing dramatic. No headlines, no scandals, no explosive rumors. Just fragments, fleeting glances captured by fan cameras, subtle shifts in body language, and moments of awareness that felt strangely intimate despite the crowded spaces they were in. Fans initially dismissed these as normal interactions between idols who have known each other for years. After all, friendships across groups are not unusual. But as time passed, those fragments began to form a pattern. The pattern was not loud. It did not scream for attention. Instead, it whispered. And the more it whispered, the harder it became for fans to ignore. During a public event filled with reporters and flashing lights, Jungkook stood calmly, almost detached from the chaos around him. His expression was neutral, professional, familiar. But in one short fan-captured clip, everything changed. As Mingyu passed within his line of sight, Jungkook's demeanor subtly shifted. It wasn't a smile meant for cameras. It wasn't a greeting meant for fans. It was something restrained, controlled, and unmistakably aware. Mingyu, on the other hand, appeared equally conscious. Multiple fan videos from different angles showed him adjusting his pace, briefly scanning his surroundings, as if searching for someone specific before grounding himself back into the public moment. There was no obvious interaction, no dramatic exchange, yet the synchronization felt too deliberate to be accidental. That was when questions began to surface. Why did two idols known for their openness suddenly appear so guarded in each other's presence? Why did they seem careful, almost cautious, when logic suggested there was nothing to hide? The intrigue deepened when fans started noticing overlaps in their schedules. Airports, overseas trips, industry events, places where their paths technically should not have crossed, yet somehow did. They were never photographed together officially. There were no selfies, no behind-the-scenes posts, no confirmations. Only separate appearances, arriving minutes apart, leaving through different exits, existing in the same space while pretending not to. In the hyper-observant world of fandom culture, that kind of distance speaks volumes. Social media erupted quietly at first, then all at once. Threads analyzing body language went viral. Side-by-side video comparisons spread across platforms. Longtime fans began revisiting old interviews, old clips, old comments that once felt insignificant but now seemed loaded with hidden meaning. Words spoken years ago were suddenly reinterpreted through an entirely new lens. What made the situation even more compelling was the complete absence of official responses. No agency statements, no clarifications, no denials. In an industry that is quick to shut down rumors, the silence surrounding Jungkook and Mingyu felt intentional. And intentional silence often fuels louder speculation than any confirmation ever could. Some fans argued this was simply mutual respect and a desire to protect a genuine friendship from public scrutiny. Others believed the restraint hinted at something deeper, something too personal, too delicate, or too complicated to exist comfortably under the relentless gaze of fame. The fandom split into theories, each one more convincing than the last. Media outlets soon followed. International K-pop commentators began referring to the situation as a silent narrative, a phenomenon where the lack of information becomes the story itself. Analysts pointed out how rare it is for idols of this magnitude to generate such intense attention without a single confirmed detail. Jungkook, often described as emotionally expressive and naturally transparent, appeared unusually reserved. Mingyu, typically relaxed and openly affectionate with friends, seemed more controlled when Jungkook was nearby. Fans couldn't help but notice the contrast between their usual behavior and these particular moments. As weeks turned into months, the narrative evolved. This was no longer about isolated interactions. It became a broader conversation about privacy, image control, and the unseen emotional realities of idol life. Jungkook and Mingyu were no longer just individuals being watched. They became symbols of everything fans believe happens behind closed doors. What makes the story resonate so deeply is not certainty, but ambiguity. There is no clear answer, no confirmed truth. And perhaps that is exactly why it refuses to fade away. Because in a world where everything is documented, live-streamed, and analyzed, silence becomes powerful. Silence becomes suspicious. Silence becomes meaningful. Now, as more footage resurfaces and more fans connect dots that were once scattered, the question is no longer whether something was hidden, but why it was hidden so carefully for so long. Was it protection, fear, mutual understanding, or something the public was never meant to see until now? And if this quiet story has already shaken the fandom without a single word being spoken, what will happen if Jungkook and Mingyu ever decide to break their silence? Will the truth confirm what fans have long believed, or will it completely rewrite the narrative we thought we understood? As the discussion continued to spread, something even more fascinating began to happen within the fandom itself. Fans were no longer just observers, they became investigators, archivists, and storytellers. Every newly surfaced clip was treated like a missing puzzle piece. A hand movement here, a pause there, a glance held just a fraction of a second longer than necessary. In any other context, these moments might have been meaningless. But in the world of Jungkook and Mingyu, they felt deliberate. What stood out most was not what they did, but what they avoided. There were no public jokes between them, no casual mentions in interviews, no playful acknowledgments that could have easily silenced rumors. Instead, there was a consistent pattern of restraint. Fans began to wonder whether this distance was a choice made together, an unspoken agreement formed long before anyone started paying attention. Some insiders suggested that this kind of silence often comes from experience. In an industry where even the smallest interaction can be exaggerated beyond recognition, choosing caution can be an act of self-preservation. Jungkook and Mingyu, both having spent most of their lives under public scrutiny, may understand better than anyone how quickly narratives can spiral out of control. Yet others argued that the emotional weight fans sensed could not be explained by caution alone. There was something undeniably human about it. The way Jungkook seemed more introspective in these moments, the way Mingyu appeared quietly attentive, as if aware that even a single misstep could reveal more than intended. This was not the behavior of people who were unaware of being watched. This was the behavior of people who cared deeply about what might be seen. As international media picked up the story, headlines became more suggestive. Articles questioned whether the silence itself was a message. Analysts debated whether modern fandom culture had reached a point where absence of evidence was now considered evidence in its own right. Jungkook and Mingyu's quietness became a mirror, reflecting fans' own hopes, interpretations, and emotional investments. What makes the story so compelling is that it refuses to resolve. There is no climax, no revelation, no confirmation waiting just around the corner. Instead, it exists in a constant state of anticipation. Each public appearance reignites the conversation. Each shared space, no matter how brief, sends fans back into analysis mode. Perhaps that is why this narrative has endured while so many others fade. It does not rely on shock or scandal. It thrives on subtlety, on the understanding that sometimes the strongest connections are the ones that do not need to be announced.